Welcome to the program today. Mondo Gonzales here in studio with our good friend Billy Crone, and we have got a great program today. We're going to be talking about some very interesting people: King Charles, Elon Musk, Yuval Harari. So stick around. Well, welcome, and again, we are here with Billy Crone talking about the global elites and the Antichrist, Volume 2. Now, you might have seen that we've discussed his Volume 1. It's going to be a great program today, so you're going to want to hear all the details. We got some interesting things the way we're going to handle this today. You are watching this on television, but we also do other programs. We do longer programs that you might not know. And so we just want to encourage you that this is going to be one of those where if you want to see the full program that I get to do with Billy, you can go to theweekinbibleprophecy.com, and that is our podcast channel, and it is up and coming and growing, where we spend more time on these topics that we don't necessarily always have in a short television program. So check it out. Or you can just go to prophecywatchers.com, and you can find all the information there about how to find us on the different places. And also, just before we talked to Billy, I want to remind everybody about our upcoming conference in Norman, Oklahoma, October 9th through 12th. Put it on your calendar. Billy's going to be there with us, as well as 20 other speakers. It's going to be a phenomenal time. And here we are, Billy. Welcome.
Well, Mondo, thanks for having me. It's always great to be on.
And you know, the other thing I want to mention is you and I, Billy and I, we're going to be going to Turkey and Greece and Egypt to see the pyramids, and as well as potentially seeing a Noah's Ark candidate this fall. It's going to be a great time. Athens, Greece, you name it. If you want to see the itinerary on that, you can go to prophecywatchers.com, click on the events tab, and just scroll all the way down to the calendar, and you'll see the brochure there. It's going to be a great time. Well, Billy, here we are, Global Elites and the Antichrist, Volume 2.
Yeah.
And we have up here, you know, behind us, the characters. Maybe, if you don't mind, give it a little bit of just an intro at what Volume 1 was and how you transitioned into Volume 2.
Yeah, well, I like that, characters. That's probably more appropriate. I call them the critters. Here's the critters. But really, yeah, Volume 1 basically was the deep dive on the Antichrist. That's the title, right? Global Elites and the Antichrist. So it's the deepest dive I've ever done. All things the Antichrist. Who is the Antichrist? The genealogy, his background, things of that nature. Of course, the timing, the appearance, all that stuff. Well, then I began to deal with 5 critters, who are actually helping to build the infrastructure for the Antichrist. And the reason why that's important for us as Christians is because we're seeing the foundation being laid for his appearance. We leave the planet at the rapture prior to his appearance. And so if we see the formation of it, it just means that our departure is that much nearer. That's why we need to get equipped on this as Christians. The other thing too is most of us would, as prophecy teachers, would say that it's a biblical necessity that the infrastructure is being laid. And I would say, even Paul mentions that 2 Thessalonians 2, the secret power of lawlessness is already at work. And the reason why is because when the Antichrist appears on the scene, Daniel 9:27, the start of the 7-year tribulation, he doesn't arrive on the scene and go like, well, I better get cracking with making up a world government and duping people to go to a one world economy, cashless society, biometric. No, there's not enough time. Yeah. So logically, biblically, you got to build the infrastructure. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's very important because when we think about the Antichrist, don't forget that, and Gary and I have talked a lot about this, where the beast system is an oligarchy, because Revelation 17:12 and 13 says quite clearly that he is ruling with these 10 kings as a group. Now, granted, he's the main guy, but he has a support system, and whatever that looks like, you know, it's kind of fun to discuss. But no doubt, when he comes on the scene, it's a turnkey system. Yeah. And so, you know, people just, I think it's important to remember that. And so as we look at this and we evaluate these characters that are right now establishing the system, again, in generations, and even the whole royal family, even Queen Elizabeth, you know, very beloved, so to speak, based on the presentation that the media gives. But you do a deep dive on this, so talk about King Charles and why you included him.
Yeah, well, that's the what I call the paid smokescreen. Most people don't realize, Mondo, that King Charles, not Klaus Schwab, King Charles is the one who announced the Great Reset. He's also been labeled as the king of the New World Order. So this guy is in the thick of it. We have him on tape. the classic one. He's speaking at a climate conference and things of that nature. And he's all of a sudden starts talking about we need to make sure that this guy, he has everything he needs
Trillions
at his disposal. And we're going like, who's he? And I'm going, dude, that's Revelation 17. Because if in fact King Charles is one of these oligarchs, the 10, ruling a chunk of the planet, he's already said on tape that that's the plan, that we're going to hand it over to one guy. I'm going like, he said it on tape.
You know, who's the him? Who's the his
and
there?
That's just it. What do you guys know that we don't know, and what are you building, and who for? But only the Bible gives you the answer, Mondo. It's there. It would go in one year out your other, but Revelation 17 says the planet's going to be split up into 10 kings. The 10 kings, once that gets established, they hand it over to the beast, the Antichrist. And so he's literally talking about that. And the reason why is because we bring down the deep dive with his background. This guy...
But let me just say this. So just so people understand, you're not saying he's the Antichrist, because he's been a candidate for a long time.
No.
So just so we're clear, you're not saying he's Antichrist, but you're saying he's preparing,
bingo,
by his own words, he's preparing the trillions, or wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, because he's a part of that. And we take a deep dive, number one, on the family background. But my point is, I do a deep dive not only in their background, showing that this is not an innocent royal thing, and they're not here for good, pure motives. I go back to the whole premise of the British Empire. The British Empire has never given up on controlling the planet. What? Yeah, a lot of people think that the British Empire is just this little island and whoop-de-doo, who cares about what they say and do? It's just a monarchy in face, but there's no power. He is in charge of what's called the Commonwealth of Nations. 56 around the planet are technically under their bidding. It's a huge chunk of the planet that this guy is in charge of. Look it up, Commonwealth of Nations. And that includes not just a lot of Europe, Canada, we were just in Australia, New Zealand, right? And India and the other things, that's under the Commonwealth of Nations.
On that note, do you have any comment about Trump's, he expressed a desire, well, not a desire, maybe we should be under the Commonwealth. Trump said this recently, I was like, what?
But yes, of all things to mention,
that's odd, yeah.
And especially when you understand, as we expose the background and the motive of King Charles and what he's really up to, why would you say anything like that? Why would you want to partner with these people? These people have some horrible, nefarious plans for humanity, whether we want them or not. And part of it is, we go into his background, we expose that he's got direct ties with the Great Reset. He's here helping to pull that off, what the Bible calls the Antichrist kingdom. But then we take a deep dive, and I was really looking forward to this, to expose this whole myth, this lie called climate change.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that because a lot of people don't realize this is the global scare that they have come up with to scare people to go along with their taking over the planet, the Great Reset.
And money.
Right, exactly. But again, if you're going to change the global regime, the global direction, you need a global crisis. Create a crisis, you manage the outcome. That's the old modus of operandi. The other thing that we bring there that I was really excited about, because again, a lot of people are catching on that this climate change is a bunch of baloney, right? There's a lot of whistleblowers out there. I believe, I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but I believe they're going to create climate disasters on purpose to give the illusion that we'll see. Those people are climate deniers. They don't know what they're talking about. Did you see that hurricane? Yep. Did you see that it's all increasing? If you remember when we were in Australia just recently preaching, I had two different people, and John was one of them, and they were talking about a recent hurricane that they had.
Oh, typhoon, yeah.
That it was just the craziest thing. It was coming towards them, but okay, it was heading out. Then all of a sudden they were saying it took literally a 90-degree turn. And all of a sudden, they said, we've never seen anything like it. They said it was almost like it was steered.
Yeah.
So my point is, to get people to buy that, see, you've got to let us control the planet, split it up into 10 chunks. Look at these earthquakes that are happening, the fires, and most people don't realize they're doing it.
It's chaos. Yeah.
They're doing it. They're creating the chaos, not because it's true, but they're creating it. That's the lie. Yeah. And so he's all in on that, as well as the depopulation aspect. He's big on that with Bill Gates. Believes that we need to annihilate a big chunk of the planet. And so we bring that out, that this guy, that's the smokescreen. Yeah. He's not just some innocent royal guy who's kind of fuddy-duddy and then, no, this guy is up to no good, and he is preparing the system for the Antichrist.
Yeah. What Billy does too is he gets into just a deep dive on all the sexual perversion. Let's be honest. We see this with Epstein Island and Prince Andrew and other things. And again, it's not, this is the stuff that is below the surface that is not always mentioned. And so, well, we're going to take a little break here where you can see how to get our magazine, which seeks to keep you up to date on a monthly basis, not just the theology of the Bible and eschatology, but also current events and other things. So take a listen.
In the last 2 years, tens of thousands of prophecy watchers from all over the world have subscribed to our monthly magazine, The Prophecy Watcher. 12 DVDs on Bible prophecy can be yours when you subscribe to our 48-page full-color magazine for just 1 year, print or digital format, all for a gift of $50, with shipping included in the USA. The Prophecy Watcher magazine includes the writings of dozens of prophecy experts like Gary Stearman, Mondo Gonzales, L.A. Marzulli, Bill Salus, Josh Peck, and many others, writing on fascinating subjects like the Rapture, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Red Heifer, the World Economic Forum, the Global Reset, digital currency, the Mark of the Beast, the Nephilim, and the Antichrist's beast system of global control, things you will likely never hear about in church. 12 bonus DVDs will introduce you to Ezekiel's Gog and Magog war and the road to Armageddon. We'll examine the supernatural side of the Bible as we investigate controversial issues like the Nephilim, government UFO cover-ups, and the Shroud of Turin. We'll address the Luciferian Rebellion, a mutiny that changed heaven and earth forever. Speaking of heaven, you'll enjoy Mondo's glimpse into God's creation as he explores the stunning beauty of the stars and galaxies, seen through the lens of our Psalm 19 observatory cameras. 12 issues of the magazine, plus 12 bonus DVDs, a $180 value, now available for your gift of $50 to support our worldwide television outreach. Care to become a fellow Prophecy Watcher? Just visit our online bookstore at prophecywatchers.tv. Partner with us today and help us take the message of the soon return of Jesus to the whole world.
Well, welcome back. We are talking to Billy Crone about his new series, Global Elites and the Antichrist, Volume 2. And we spent the first section, Billy, talking about King Charles. And I want to keep moving here, but one of my, I wouldn't say favorites, but in the sense of the ones I've interacted with a lot is the second person you discussed, deep dive, is Elon Musk. Now, we know Elon has been put into the government. He's not getting paid, but nevertheless, he's in charge of the new Department of Government Efficiency. We know that that things have trappings, right? Mm-hmm. They can be they could look like, oh, this is all wonderful, but in reality, there's other things that could be used. No one's saying he's a Satanist necessarily, right? But talk about Elon.
Man, where do you start? I'm with you. I was really looking forward to getting to this because what I had come across in previous studies, I just kept stacking it up. Mm-hmm. Hey, Christians were truth tellers. Mm-hmm. I'll agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Getting rid of this government waste. I wish we would have done this decades ago. I am not against that. That's what I call front porch news. That's what he's doing on the front porch. Okay, and I'll give him that. And that is good. Mm-hmm. I'm not against that. Okay, all I'm saying is, all right, can we talk about what's going on in the backyard now? Mm-hmm. I found 11 direct parallels of what he's involved in, his business ventures and everything. That is a direct tie, Mondo, to the Great Reset agenda. There's no way that's by chance. 11. Mm-hmm. It just kept going down the line. Everything that Klaus Schwab wants to bring to the planet and the gang and the global elites, and which I'm convinced is the Antichrist kingdom, he's doing it. He's helping to bring it to the planet, right? So he knows the script from these guys. So he's just using that knowledge and he's doing that. Let me give you a couple other real quick. And I want to bring this one up because people say, oh, he's on our side, not only with the Doge thing.
He's conservative, loves freedom.
But that's why he bought Twitter, for freedom. I couldn't wait to get to this. No. Do the research. He is still working on restricting speech, even on Twitter now X. Mm-hmm. So don't tell me he's about freedom. Then why is he working with countries around the world that have restrictive laws and he's submitting to that? That's not free speech, right? So the other thing too is, of all people for him to hire as the CEO of X, you know who it is? Linda Yaccarino. You know who she is? One of the biggest bigwigs straight out of the World Economic Forum.
Yep.
So that tells you who he's working for. The other thing, he's admitted his real motive for Twitter now X. And he wants to turn it into a universal payment system.
Yes, he does.
That goes back to his background with PayPal and things of that nature, right? Universal payment system. Well, that's the Bible says we're headed towards the universal payment system. So whoever comes up with the best one, most reliable, universal one, they're going to make bank, aren't they?
Well, and he, if you look at things that are happening in China already, the Alibaba app, the Alipay app, that's already very established there. Mm-hmm. And so he's looking at that. But what hasn't happened is that's in the East.
Right.
He wants to be the guy that brings that system over into the West.
He wants to turn X, the platform. That's why he bought the platform. It wasn't about freedom of speech. To have a universal payment system. And again, he's going to make bank, right? Let me give you another one. This is the easy one. Klaus Schwab has said on tape, I actually shared the video from the World Economic Forum. I believe it was 2017. He's having a conversation with Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, Larry Page, the other one. And he's talking about Klaus Schwab to Sergey. He goes, hey, and everybody's going to get brain chips. And what that will allow us to do is to be able to monitor people's thoughts, for instance, how they like our conversation even right now in real time. He says it on tape. So everybody's going to get a brain chip. What? Well, now you're getting into like Mark of the Beast stuff, right hand, forehead stuff. And so of all things, so this was 2017. So Schwab said everybody's going to get a brain chip. All right. So if you had advanced knowledge of this, what would you do?
Yep.
You'd, every dime, every nickel, you'd what? Whoever builds the biggest, fastest, most reliable brain chip installation company on the planet, you're going to make bank when they mandate this. Well, guess what he's doing? Hello, it's called Neuralink, right? And so there's no way that's by chance, right? And so, in fact, Musk has even gone on record saying his goal with Neuralink, the brain chip installation company, is going to be as fast and painless as a LASIK eye procedure, where you go in and you go right back out. He said that's how fast we're going to be doing these brain chips in humans. Now, at the same time he's doing that, Neuralink, he's also with SpaceX, is launching with his own SpaceX rockets, Starlink, which for the first time in man's history is creating a global matrix, this is their words, where no matter where you're at in the middle of the desert or on the top of the Himalayan mountains, everybody will be able to access the net, right? And this is needed to create what's called the IoT or Internet of Things, which anything that has a microchip, a product, a person, a light pole, your phone, via a brain chip, it will all be able to be connected on a global basis, and it can be monitored and controlled. And so now you're talking about including currency. So now you're talking about the Mark of the Beast system. He is launching for the first time in the history of mankind the ability to pull that off on a global basis.
There's over 7,000 satellites right now. I mean, I keep up with it because it interferes with our astrophotography, But he'll launch 60 a week because again, he has the rockets to do it.
Right.
And I mean, you think 7,500? He's approaching 7,500 really fast. He's got permission for 30,000 already from the government, and he wants 40,000.
Right.
And so here again, you think about, if you were an Antichrist or person and or the globalist and you were planning it, you'd say, hey, we need a way to keep everybody connected and to be able to surveil. And so what has he done? Like you said, he's invested in it and he is the front runner, no doubt.
Whoever creates the first, biggest, baddest, most reliable global matrix system, you're going to make bank. Not only that, I believe that's some of the bigger issues of why he launched SpaceX. Because if you were to wait to work with the middleman, NASA or whatever, to launch this, you know how long that would take?
Nope.
So he knows.
He knows.
So he creates his own rocket company. So with his own rockets, he's cranking them out. He's building it faster than anybody. So again, Mondo, it's tit for tat. And we're just talking with a couple of 11 direct parallels of the Great Reset agenda he's involved in. He's on the forefront. And you can't tell me that's by chance. I'm not saying he's the Antichrist. I won't even say that he's necessarily doing this. Yep, every day I get up, I'm going to help build the Antichrist kingdom. I'm not even saying that.
Not at all.
I'm just saying you put it all together, and he's helping to build the actual Antichrist system. And people need to wake up to that.
I think this is, you guys know about some of the work that we've done, and the sense of, I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of the world being brought into 10 regions, like the Club of Rome. I think that's one option. And again, from a practical perspective, that makes sense. But I am strongly convinced that the 10 kings are non-governmental in that they are technocrats, and that these are the people on that day that hand over their technology and power over to the Antichrist and make an agreement to rule with him. But nevertheless, regardless of that different options. And again, I'm not dogmatic, but what we're seeing here is the technology that is coming. And there's one more person we want to talk about today. We're going to take a little break here where you can see how to get Billy's Volume 2, where again, he does a deep dive, DVDs, videos. And what I found so compelling about all of this is you just listen to their own words. And that's the strength of what Billy's done here, is to find all these clips and to find all these reports and these comments where they simply reveal what they're doing right out of the gate. So take a listen.
While the Antichrist guessing game has gone on for centuries, only in the age of technology could this system of complete control be possible. Today's surveillance society is controlled by satellites, high-speed computers, and now artificial intelligence, bringing us closer to the tribulation and the system of the beast. Billy Crone has made it his life's mission to warn people of the coming tribulation and to show them how to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Billy has produced a series of well-researched books and DVDs exposing the secrets of the deep state and men who once operated in the shadows. Over the years, they've grown fabulously wealthy and become household names. These men are leading the way to the Great Reset, mankind's attempt to create a world without accountability to God. But Billy has pulled back the curtain once again to expose the inner workings and dark plans of these powerful globalists. Volume 2 of Billy's new book and DVD set, Global Elites and the Antichrist, is available in both book and DVD format. It features in-depth research on secret lives and little-known details of the men you've heard about today, men who appear to be setting the stage to welcome the biblical Antichrist with open arms. Bill Gates, George Soros, King Charles, Elon Musk, and Yuval Harari all have a globalist agenda that will eventually lead us straight to the mark of the beast and Armageddon. Billy's 411-page book is available for your gift of $30, or you can order the 8 DVD set for your gift of $50 or more, with shipping included anywhere in the USA. We'll also include Mondo's bonus DVD on the 10 Kings of Revelation with either product. When you order both the book and DVD set in the special Global Elites package for your gift of $75 or more, we'll include 2 powerful bonuses: a copy of Billy's controversial DVD on the event that changed so many lives, the Great COVID Deception, and that same investigative DVD study on the 10 Kings of Revelation. Call the number on your screen 24/7 or visit us online at prophecywatchers.tv. For our international friends, please note that additional shipping fees do apply, and all prices listed are in US dollars. Chaos rules the day in our world. Some say the world is coming apart at the seams. We think all the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place. Avail yourself of Billy's shocking new research and support our work here as we do our best to warn the world of things to come.
Well, welcome back. We are talking to Billy Crone, again, Global Elites and the Antichrist Volume 2. The other character you address, which I would imagine many Americans or even Christians, probably I would say 90% or 95% of Christians have no idea about Yuval Noah Harari. So kind of give us maybe a biography. Who is he?
Yeah.
What do we know about him, and why'd you deep dive on him?
Well, people need to know about him because he's what I call the transhumanist elite. There's many different titles that he goes by, like, a science advisor, a futurist, historian. Mm-hmm. But this guy is basically what I call the soft disclosure guy who's preparing the planet for the other parts of the Great Reset. So not just the economic reset, it's a human reset. And they actually have terms for it, right? They can't call it Hitler's eugenics because that's all it is, right? On steroids. Right. That's too obvious. So they call it Human 2.0. So he's on the forefront with that. Now, the crazy thing is, his biography is, he's a Jewish guy.
He's Israeli, yeah.
And I'm going, okay, a Jewish guy who is promoting genetic modification, medical experimentation on people. Hello, you would think you would know better. That's the weird irony. The second thing, and I didn't realize this until I got into the deep dive, he actually exposes where he gets a lot of his inspiration. And I got this on tape. He's huge, Mondo, into altered states of consciousness and meditation.
Yes, he is.
And then that's my background, man. As a New Ager and occultist before I got saved, oh man, talk about one of the fastest ways to open up demonic doors. That tells you where he's getting his information from. It's demonic, and that's really what it is. So that's kind of his background. But his role to me with the elites in this agenda is he's the guy who's psychologically preparing people for the other half of the Great Reset. And then he calms the fears by saying, but don't worry, we're going to control it. It needs to be controlled. You and I get to control that? No, the same people who are promoting this. So it's all there to pacify. Again, he never once, I've never seen him say, we need to ban this. We need to go to the UN and we're going to stop this. This is against a crime against humanity. He never says that. So that's his role with that. And then lastly, Revelation 13 talks about how the Antichrist, he does something. It says there in verse 5 in chapter 13, the beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise his authority for 42 months. He opened his mouth to blaspheme God, to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. This guy, Yuval Noah Harari, is one of the biggest blasphemers of God. He mocks the Bible. He mocks Jesus Christ. I mean, blatantly with this evil smile. Yep. We don't need to wait for the second coming of Jesus Christ to solve problems. A couple of geeks in the laboratory could do it. He just mocks. And then he mocks God. They say all the time, we're the new gods of the planet now. And I'm going, dude, that's the Antichrist spirit.
It really is, yeah.
God called it out 2,000 years ago, and this guy's doing it.
You spend a lot of time researching and deep diving all this. And what's the goal? Is the goal just to expose these guys? What's the ultimate goal here?
The ultimate goal is what I am convinced is these guys are building the infrastructure for the Antichrist kingdom. We know biblically that the Antichrist comes on the scene, Daniel 9:27, when he makes a covenant with the people of Israel. That's what starts the 7-year tribulation. Revelation 6:1 kicks in the white horse rider. We also know as Christians that we leave prior to that event. 2 Thessalonians 2 is very clear. He cannot appear until we disappear, right? Until the restrainer is removed. Then he will make his appearance. That's the direct order of 2 Thessalonians 2. So therefore, if we see the infrastructure of the Antichrist kingdom being built, that's what they're doing, then it sends a message to we the church, wait a second, that means our departure is getting that much nearer. And so what do? I need to get excited about Christ's return because heaven's way better than here, right? Number 2, I need to, as the bride, finish strong. We're on a giant rescue mission. And every day we need to get up and go like, oh man, time's running out, right? I need to get out there and tell people the good news that there's a way out of this mess. Praise God, we got a lifeboat, his name is Jesus. Well, what are you going to do? Sit in your lifeboat and say, well, too bad for you? Or are you going to reach out and try to reach as many people as can to get into the lifeboat with you? That's how we need to respond as Christians. Not get distracted and certainly not get fearful. These events are not for us, but we need to be faithful and we need to reach as many as we can. That's what I'm hoping people will do.
Amen. Thanks, Billy, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for watching today. Again, as always, we appreciate your prayers and support for what we do here. Again, we could not do it without you. The goal is the gospel of Jesus Christ, to see people saved, just as Billy said. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Prophecy Watchers is a viewer-supported ministry made possible through the faithful support of friends like you. You can give easily by visiting prophecywatchers.com.